The electrical utility companies in New Zealand has just had a giant sell-off over the past couple of days. Meridian is down by more than 10%. Contact Energy is down by more than 13%. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at what actually happened and whether this is a good buying opportunity for these stocks. Hi everyone, my name is Henk, and on this channel we'll be talking about money and personal finance. So if you're interested in that topic, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Now let's get back to the video. So the mining giant Rio Tinto has recently announced that it will close the New Zealand aluminium smelter at Tiwai Point in Southland. And this may end up affecting around 1,000 jobs and additional 1,600 jobs in the related supply chain. In a statement that they released, they stated that they're terminating their contract with Meridian Energy, which is their primary power provider for the aluminium smelting process. And they're going to be terminating their contract in August of 2021, which is around 12 months from now. Part of the reason for that was because the smelter was running a loss of around 46 million in 2019. And this, together with the high energy costs of the smelting process and the overall tough outlook for the general aluminium industry. Aluminium prices has been falling for the past couple of years, and it has fallen for more than $300 per ton over the past year. Since the opening of the Tiwai smelter, taxpayers has been subsidizing millions of dollars to help keep the factory operational. It has received a $30 million bailout in the past from the previous government, but the current government does not have plans for another bailout at this particular stage. The Tiwai plant uses about 13% of New Zealand's overall power supply, and with Meridian being the primary supplier. Contact Energy is also one of their main power supplier, accounting for around a third of its power supply. As a result of the news of the closing down of the factory, the Meridian share prices fell by more than 10%. Contact Energy was down by more than 13%. Mercury Energy was down by 4%. Genesis was down by 7%. And Trustpower was down by around 3%. In this video, I'll be focusing more on Meridian and Contact Energy because they are the ones that are more directly affected by the news. In order to get some perspective on the current situation, it's good to look at what has happened in the past. Now, this is not the first time that Rio Tinto have done internal reviews on whether it should close down or at least partially close down its Tiwai smelter. Now, back in November 2019, news came out that they might be closing down part of the smelter, and that sent the shares of the Meridian Energy Company stocks into a sell-off. So around November 2019, there were a massive sell-off of the Meridian stock. The Meridian stock sold off for a couple of days after the news announcement, but prices has actually bounced back after that and reached all-time highs earlier on in this year. And while we have the lockdown, and the stock went into a sell-off again and slowly has recovered recently. Almost exactly the same thing happened for the recent announcement. The stock just suddenly started to sell off again. Now let's look at the charts for Contact Energy. A similar sell-off happened with the Contact Energy stock as well. So again, in around November 2019, there was a big sell-off from the news announcement of the possible contraction of the smelting factory. And then Contact Energy bounced back a little bit all the way into February of 2020, and then started selling off and then started recovering. And when the current news has announced, it went into a massive sell-off again. Now let's have a look back at the Meridian chart. Now this is a situation where the fundamentals of a company such as Meridian have not changed significantly, and the drop in price is more of a result of outside factors. Meridian will still be the largest power provider in New Zealand, and they can still sell off their excess power to other customers. So overall, their businesses have not been affected that much. and people are selling off the stock in anticipation of what might happen. We can also plot the Contact Energy shares on top of the Meridian stock. Let's just get rid of these lines. And here we can see that Meridian Energy has significantly outperformed Contact Energy, at least over the past year. A possible comparison for the current situation with Meridian is like when Facebook had their data breach scandal. So Facebook has their data breach scandal back in September of 2018, and the stock went into a big sell-off around that period of time. And a lot of people said that they would boycott Facebook, but fundamentally, the business has not really changed. And realistically, the majority of people will still be using Facebook for their entertainment and communication needs. And since then, Facebook has bounced back and then gone down a bit during the lockdown, and now again it has reached its all-time high. In terms of possible prices for Meridian, we want to look at the previous support price where a lot of buyers come in, and we have a support region around here where whenever the price reaches this region, a lot of buyers come in and purchase the stock. And this is around the $4.35 to $4.45 area. So we're possibly looking at a price drop to around that area. Now, if the price continuously fall below that, you're looking at the next possible support at around the $4 region. So those are the probably the price points that I will pay more attention to if I wanted to pick up the particular stock. Another possible question that people might have is that there's so much extra power being generated if the smelter actually shuts down. Does that mean cheaper power for everyone else? Well, the simple answer is no. The current infrastructure simply does not allow easy distribution of the power from the generators that are nearby the smelter to distribute their power throughout the entire country. Transpower, who runs the national power grid, estimates that it would take 5 to 8 years and millions of dollars to rebalance the grid for distribution of power for the entire country. And as per usual, taxpayers may have to carry most of the cost. This essentially means that it is highly unlikely for normal users like you and me to experience any decreases in power prices in the short term, which really kind of sucks. What does all of this mean? In a situation where the fundamentals of a company, in this case Meridian, has not really changed, and there's been a dramatic sell-off in the particular stock, this might represent a good opportunity to pick up the stock at a discounted price. It's like a situation where I always tell people to imagine if a stock that they own suddenly dropped by 50% the very next day without any significant changes to the company itself. Would you panic and want to sell off your stock, or would you be quite happy and want to buy more? If you own a big stable company like Apple or Facebook, and their stock suddenly drops by 50% the next day, you can be like, okay, sweet, I can buy this stock at a cheaper price. However, if you own a small random company and their stock suddenly drops by 50%, it is highly likely that you wouldn't really know what to do. As per usual, investing in individual company stocks is risky, so be sure to do your own research and talk to a qualified financial advisor. And I will see you in the next video.